live, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Hey, welcome to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. And here we are at Area 52 in beautiful Darby Ranch, Florida. And this is the imho.love show. IMHO, in my humble opinion, which is all everybody has, but some apparently they're way more than others. And .love. It's a suffix you can get now instead of .com or .net or .org or whatever. .love, because that's what it's all about, man. It's the end of everything. It's the beginning of everything. And welcome to the show. We've had sporadic shows the last few months. It's been an unusual time if you've been living it as well.
And if you're dead, we're going to talk about reincarnation tonight, so you're in the right spot.
That is, I've been thinking all week about what to do on the show. And the reincarnation is the theme of the evening. Reincarnation and consciousness, how this is all one great big thing. And we'll get into that. But just today is February 17th, 2021. And apparently Rush Limbaugh passed away today.
Yeah.
And
I used to not like the guy. And then all of a sudden, somehow, either he got more reasonable or I got more conservative.
Well, regardless whether you liked the guy or didn't like, if you liked his politics or whatever, I mean, there was he had a lot of fans, and he did something that no other radio guy has ever done. He's perhaps, a lot of people are calling him the greatest of all time radio guy, and he's definitely up there. I mean, there's a lot of radio guys that are fantastic, but he had such a huge impact, and he was a guy that I really I appreciated his moxie. I didn't always agree with him. In fact, some of the things I thought he said were silly sometimes. But he hung with it, and he was a consummate professional and a very, very good businessman, and he made himself a wonderful living. And he also attracted people that, that copied his ways and did okay. So rest in peace, Mr. Limbaugh. You're from an old radio guy like me, just a junior leaguer like me. Man, you were really something else. You were really amazing, and your talent is unbelievable over all those years. And just it was a pleasure to have you in our loop. And one thing I noticed about 2021, Mike, is, I don't know if you've been on the social media pages, but these people, the guy passed away today. Whether you liked him or didn't like him or whatever, there's just these classless rubes.
Yeah, show some reverence.
Just smearing the guy. Whether you like, I mean, hey, there's a lot of people that pass away that I don't care for, but I give, a little reverence of the dead, man. Jeez, I mean, come on. And I'm actually kind of amazed at some of the people that spew that. I didn't know they were like that.
Well, it became fashionable to hate, and I feel that the tide is turning. Well, it's no longer fashionable. You can't hate. You can hate what a person does, but you cannot hate the person.
There you go.
Sure.
Sure.
Lesson number one from my dad. It's the best one you can know.
Yep.
Never hate.
Right, and that's where when I read posts like that, people that are smearing a recently deceased man, I mean, and just attacking him, that comes from a place of hate, and in the author of those words. So those of you who think you're witty and bright and you have all these snarky comments to make, you have a lot of ascending to do. And I don't mean to be condescending, but you really need to weed that stuff out, man. You need to weed it out. And whether you agree with the things I say, it really doesn't matter to me. I just say them. This is in my humble opinion. That's the show. So.
Yes, snark not, lest you be snarked.
Yes, we love the snark. We love it. Well, anyway, welcome to the show, folks. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. Many blessings here on the 17th of February. Isn't St. Patrick's Day coming up soon or something?
Yeah, it's in March. We got done with Valentine's Day.
Yes.
Yeah, many of us survived.
And, I'll just, whatever those days are. And why ever we do the things that we do.
Yeah, President's Day. I had something happen funny. It was somebody commented on Martin Luther King's birthday and then mentioned J. Edgar Hoover in the next line, and I ended up saying, "Yeah, J. Edgar Hoover was a real son of a bitch," then the conversation got convoluted, and people were thinking that I was calling Martin Luther King a son of a bitch on his birthday. and what had happened is the gals caught the mistake in reference to he or him, and then she put in Martin Luther King, and the dumpster fire got gassed.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man. It was like, I had so many racist comments. It was funny. It's like, yeah, get racist. Come on, give me a break. But I had to put, and I can see it. 20 years from now, if the communists take over, I'm sitting in that chair there, and they're going, "Okay, you called Martin Luther King a racist on Facebook, didn't you?" No.
It says right here that you did.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
This is the
the surveillance society, man. It's going to bite us all in the ass. Every horrible joke you ever told,
oh my God,
every slur. I don't know if it all comes back on us. Whatever, it is what it was.
It won't. It's going the other way.
And you can, and just remember, there is no cloud. There's only somebody else's hard drive. There's no cloud. It's really the cloud. I love their illusions. But anyway, folks, tonight we're going to stay out of politics. We're going to stay out of lower vibration stuff because it's very, very fatiguing. And one thing that Mike and I talk about often, and as part of your constant analysis as a seeker in life, you're constantly evaluating where you are and how you're reacting to your world. And what I see often, and I just experienced it, Monday, we buried my dad's very good friend. My dad passed about 10 years ago, and his friend Gene Vero passed away, and we went to the ceremony, my brother, my sister, and I, to pay respects from our family to them. And this was a guy I knew. I didn't know him well, but he was always the guy hanging around my dad, so he was cool with me as far as that goes. And he had a good sense of humor. He's a funny guy, and I liked him a lot. And, my condolences are with his family. But what I actually took away from the whole situation was I knew him, as a guy. I could call him anytime. We had little chats on Facebook from time to time. But now he's gone. Okay, now his physicality is gone. Okay, his physical body, his spirit has left that and gone somewhere. Okay, it's so the only thing that really changed was his spirit was present in this container, and now the container has ran its course. But now the spirit goes into another realm and probably into another container at some time. I don't understand that time thing, how long you wait or sit one out. Or
average time is 16, 18 months.
16?
Yeah.
And where do you get that statistic?
From the case studies. What was the Netflix special?
Surviving Death.
Surviving Death, yeah.
Yeah, if you have, I hardly recommend television, but check that out. It was very interesting and beats the hell out of most of the other things on TV.
Yeah.
So that circle or that, well, of course, everything is cyclical.
Dr. Jim Tucker, actually, Dr. Jim Tucker, MD. He's the guy that did the Netflix death thing, okay?
Okay.
And he's not only just MD, but he's the head of the neurology and psychiatric department of the University of Virginia Medical School. And this is what he's been doing. He's been involved with paranormal psychology for the last 40 or 50 years.
Yeah.
So what you're seeing on the Netflix special is a culmination of a lot of work by this doctor and his team. But when you look into... I mean, I've been studying this since 1975.
Right.
And it first got, cued in by In Search of Bridie Murphy, which was a book that was written about one of the first earliest case studies involving somebody who had been reincarnated, and they tracked her down. This is a New York case, and they tracked her down everything that she said to 100 years earlier in a very remote part of Ireland, and brothers and sisters and all the things that she would not or could not have known about, came to be true.
Wow.
And then in this Netflix special, the last of the episodes brings in two cases that are very, very important. We have somebody who's been reincarnated in our group here.
Oh, we do.
Yeah, we do. And the person still has the scars from where he was shot and I think he knows it was during the Battle of the Bulge, and it was probably the machine gunning of the American troops at Malmedy.
Oh my.
So yeah, but the interesting thing about the whole reincarnation stuff is in the last episode, there's one child that comes back. There are a bunch of them. I mean, there's this kid from Israel who came back, and he found his murderer, and he brought the police to the town where he was murdered and showed them where he was buried, and then called the guy out who did it, and he ends up confessing. They found the murder weapon as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this stuff is there's a lot of this stuff out here. But here's where we go.
I love stuff like that.
Here's where we go into race, though. In one of the episodes, in the last episode, one of the case studies is this kid is white,
right?
Okay, and his prior life he's black.
Yeah, and a girl.
And
he's a little white boy, and his prior life he was a little black girl.
Right, and that not only brings into focus the reality of reincarnation. I mean, the Western, reincarnation was part of Christianity until the Council of Nicaea, when they outlawed it and they made it a mortal sin to talk about it, and it was blasphemy, and you could be burned at the stake. The thing is that they had to take all this stuff out of the Bible, but they didn't know what to do with Lazarus, so they left it in there. Okay. But and that's a special kind of reincarnation because it's a reincarnation of the same person. But here's the gig. If we don't treat each other as equals, if we just ignore race when it comes to the relationship between human beings, ignore religion, ignore everything else, who knows? What was I in my last lifetime? I could have been an African-American slave in 1841 that got killed by his master.
Sure.
I want my reparations now.
Right.
Okay? I mean, let's just stop the nonsense.
Right.
And realize that we're coming back in one way, shape, or form, and if we don't leave the planet better off today than better off when we leave it than it was when we came in, then we're doing the rest of the human beings and the rest of the souls that have to inhabit this world a disservice.
Yes.
So get rid of race, make the place better, and move on. I mean, we have better places to go than back to the past and making the past worse.
Sure, you're exactly right. Like Tom Waits says, I want to make this place better than the way I found that it was. Because Jesus is going to be here. He's going to be here soon.
Well, whether Jesus is coming or not, we need to fucking get
Well, we need to tighten up.
yeah, you know, I know my breath for Jesus. You know, he might come back as a black girl. Who knows? Or Palestinian.
Well, you're exactly right, Mike. And that's what the world system wants us to miss. It doesn't want us to realize that we are part of this absolute divine oneness. Okay, that the spirit that's within you is this. You are me, and I am you. I mean, in that kind of ultra hippie context, it always happens that way. The spirit is continuous, and I don't know whether you leave levels or you go exactly where you go from here. I mean, there's 1,000 reports of 100,000 reports of 100,000 different things, 100 different thousand destinations, and but I also know that while you're living this life, the more internally rested assured that your spirit is going to progress, that your spirit is going to move on. That's something that we all should, spend time with. I mean, check yourself. I mean, what are you doing with your life? I mean, have you made identification with your creator? I mean, are you moving in that direction as you go? I mean, are you trying to live a more peaceful, gentle life? Or are you entertained by the little amusements, by the blinking light in your living room, by baubles and toys and stuff? You're allowed to have stuff, but man, the stuff just really, really controls a lot of people.
Hey, it's part of. I'm trying to get together this article, so I've been writing on it this week, and I've got a little a presentation to make on Sunday to my classmates at university.
Yes.
So I'm kind of, I'm not going to say getting overwhelmed by it, but it's amazing where inspiration comes in. I'm thumbing through my my feed on Facebook, and this person comes up, and her name is Jade Swan. Have you ever seen Jade Swan?
Jade Swan, no.
Oh my God. She's young and attractive, but she looks like she has a mouth that's like one third the size that it's supposed to be.
Oh, really?
So she talks in this really kind of funny fashion. But she had a great line, and she said that when you recognize other as self and self as other, how can you in your right mind possibly do anything to hurt yourself?
Yes. Yes.
So
sure.
That was it was a surprise line from somebody who really wasn't talking about the Tao or the oneness of consciousness. But
yeah, see, and that's why it's always good to refrain from judging, because you don't even know what people are carrying around inside of them. There's some really, really beautiful, well-settled souls that just walk right by you. You might pick up on their energy, you might not, but that's why. This show, in my humble opinion, .love, we kind of try to, we know this is a stressful world, and we know there's a lot of things battling us all the time. So we try to kind of just neutralize it, bring it back down. Don't let your world get too small. Now, this thing you got going on, it's like a big Zoom thing with your Princeton people?
Yeah, it's Hollis and I are giving a presentation on CE5. We finally stimulated enough interest in it so that we each have 15 minutes of presentation.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, so hopefully
you speak handily about it.
I do. The question is it's 15 minutes to explore the absolute tip of the iceberg.
Yes, sure.
It's
the end of a pencil.
Well, yeah, it's kind of funny. In the introductory, I read it, and it was like, yeah, he lectured here and lectured there and did this, and they completely left out the free study.
Right.
So it's like it'll be an interesting presentation, because now it may be euphemistic, but you used to be crazy if you believed in UFOs, and now you're crazy if you don't. Okay, so
it's spun that far around now.
It has spun that far around, you know. So, you know, we're gonna.
Well, they've got to be the latest craze.
Well, it's kind of funny, you know. I think I'm going to lead off with, you know, if you think being gay and coming out of the closet was difficult, try to be a contactee. I mean, you know, 1/3 of the population can relate to gay, but only 1/10 of the population can relate to having seen or being in contact with a UFO. So at least that's what the statistics say. So I'll be going into that a little bit. So.
Well, and it's and that's a good approach. You know, you do have to apply a little practicality to it. And CE5, for those of you who aren't familiar with the phraseology, is close encounters of the fifth kind, which is a human-initiated contact experience, also known as HICE, human-initiated contact experience. And what that is we have these meetings here at the Darby Ranch, and monthly when there's no moon for best visibility. And we meet out there in the ranch, and we had an incredible group just Saturday night. They were very, very into it, and into it in all the good dimensions.
And there were also, you know, 28 people showed, probably 25 were newbies, you know. It was just people coming in for the first time. Got a little overcast, you know, no appearances, but that's been happening. I've been checking in with other group leaders, and there has been a real lack of ETs showing up. So I don't know what's going on.
I'm sure it's Trump's fault.
Yes, well, it's either that or now that Trump is gone, there's not.
Who are they going to blame now?
Yeah, it's like Biden.
That's what they rejoiced when they had a new pinata when Rush passed away. But you know, all right, to circle back around. Like that lady says.
I hate that.
Isn't that the worst?
I hate that.
Isn't that the worst?
I had a judge that asked that to me about evidence we needed to get. And he goes, "You want to circle back around?" And I was like, "I don't understand what circling back around means." It's like, you know, here's a judge. He's like in his late 30s and talking the jargon of the 30s, and here I am being an old fart saying, "Oh, you mean go back and get that evidence that my client never told me about." Yes.
Oh, that
would be good.
That part.
Yes.
You know, there's a great line here by Dr. Tucker, and for those of you who are you know, a lot of religion debunks reincarnation, but you know, the more you delve into spirit and to eliminate that element of it, I think you're kind of cheating yourself on some wonderful dimensions that are available to you. But I love this line because it's so beautifully condensed. This is Dr. Jim Tucker. He wrote, "Reincarnation is proof that consciousness continues after the body dies. We may or may not come back here, but the evidence that mainstream materialist view of reality is incorrect. And that is this. It challenges us to take a different view of reality and one that is consistent with quantum theory." And that was Max Planck's quote.
Max Planck.
So, that was Max Planck's quote. And that was kind of what I was trying to say when I was talking about my friend Gene. It's his spirit, all it did really was transition. It left that container, and now it's on its way to a new container. And you're saying that it's a 16 to 18 month gestation period?
Yeah, well, that's what the studies have shown. What happens is the older you get, the more likely you are to forget about it. But usually the spirit re-enters a new host within 16 to 18 months of the cases studied. So
of the cases studied, okay.
Studied.
It can take its own time.
Yeah, well, there's no telling, there's no saying, you know.
You know, I have friends out in Denver, Jimmy and Melody, and they live near a hospital. Mm-hmm. And when they moved into this new house, it's only a couple blocks away from the hospital, they heard in an audible sound in their home one night, "I'm losing a lot of blood." Okay, in their home. So, of course, that really spooked them. That's an odd thing to say. That's an odd thing to hear. But what we know about spirit and its mobility is maybe there was a spirit leaving someone at the hospital, and that was the last thing that was said, because, or just one of the things that was said that night of that spirit moving, because they can, whether you audibly heard it or whether it was, spiritually implanted,
or whether whether the gray matter inside your brain is vibrating and producing it based on some stimuli that we aren't quite sure how it gets there, yeah.
So just there's so much spirit alive right now, and this last, I'm going to call it the year of strangeness. Is that a good name?
The year of low strangeness.
Yeah, all the lower vibrations had their beat over the last year. Think about it, what a crazy year. It's almost like you can't believe it happened. You can't believe it's over, and you can't believe
it's still not over.
It's not over. We're going through some big global, stretch and movement. And it's there's definitely a paradigm shift going on. The
materialists are the materialists are in control.
Oh, the materialists, of course.
Yes,
Yeah.
They got to control everything because they fear death. They think that's the end of it.
Yeah.
Which is sad, because I know a perfectly wonderful lady, and she's just absolutely wonderful, and she's an atheist.
Oh.
I can't get past that.
And
yeah. It's like, and she gives her time. She actually does the soup line at
Is she an annihilationist?
Metropolitan Ministries.
Okay.
No, she just doesn't believe in the soul. She doesn't believe in God. She doesn't believe in a superior being. And this is not the Christian God we're talking about. We're talking about an intelligence. We're talking about the Tao. We're talking about something that is unites.
Creator spirit, force, energy, flow.
Infinite intelligence.
Christ consciousness.
Yeah. Well, don't you, when you bring in Christ, then you kind of corner it. Some people might call it that. So the key is source to be as amorphous as possible in describing it.
Source is good.
Yeah, you're universal. You don't want to call it Catholic, which is the perfect word for it, but we use Catholic as like Roman Catholics. That means, oh no, it's like gay, ruined another frickin' word. Come on, give me a break. So but it's the same thing, and you don't confine this wonderful spirit, because it can't be. It's always been there. It always will be. We're a part of it. We just get little chips, cut off and sent their own way to enjoy the life of a three-dimensional physicality.
Well, we talked about this a couple days ago about our journey through materialism, and you also have to remember what you were being pitched back then on television, the imagery that was being presented to you. That mid-70s. The mid-70s, for those of you who missed it, you really missed a good time. I got to say. It really was. You could still have Kerouacian adventures, but with cooler stuff.
You could hitchhike and be picked up.
Mike, for as many hours as we've spent together, I wish we would spend more time talking about you hitchhiked across the country twice?
Like 3-4 times.
4 times. And you took Kerouac's route?
Yeah, I took it all. Then I went all over the place. Yeah, I took the northern route, took the southern route, took the middle route. Went down into Mexico. Headed up to Maine a couple of times.
For those of you who don't know, Kerouac's route was Jack Kerouac, who's the author of On the Road, an epic book. If you've never read it, man, what a fabulous read. Especially, I mean, it's kind of male oriented, but it's a fantastic read. It's a great adventure, and I have to say, Ron Bennington, we talked about reading on the road, and his synopsis was brilliant at the end. He goes, "It's the best book you'll ever read, and it's the worst book you'll ever read." He goes, "It'll send you places and take you away from places. It's just a beautifully put together piece, and it's a fun read."
And then when you follow it with the electric Kool-Aid acid test,
Yeah,
and then start reading Bukowski, you're screwed for life.
Yeah, you get that. You get that outsiders thing, that scourgy kind of a.
Like we ain't like the rest.
Yeah, well, we ain't like everybody else, and the poets and the oddballs and the strange ones. There's a great Kerouac quote about that, and you can look that up. It has what's the fireworks. You can look it up that way. It'll be in the top 10 great Jack Kerouac quotes.
Well, Kerouac died in St. Petersburg,
At his mom's house.
Yeah.
And without a whole lot of dough or fanfare or anything.
No, I liked his early work, especially Maggie Cassidy was a work of art.
Yep.
It was
Did you read Book of Dreams?
No. Book
of Dreams was hard to follow because he was getting up in the middle of the night and recording his dreams. So I mean, there's I'm with my uncle in the attic, and there's a doll head, those kind of things. So that was a decent read though. But if you parlay into Bukowski, that's going to change your route altogether. I read one of Bukowski's favorites was a guy named John Fonte. Who wrote Ask the Dust. And man, that's a fantastic. It's that, like I said, these are kind of like male-oriented romance novels that I really identified with. For searching for that lost love, searching for that real thing, searching for that spiritual fulfillment, And sometimes you get dangerously close to it, and all that stuff comes back around, and you get a nervousness inside yourself that, man, maybe all that John Fonte could come to life. Maybe all of Bukowski's broken hearts could be patched up. Maybe all of Kerouac's wandering. It's all just so much. And sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, we're off on a tangent there, but that's cool. And I'm sure those guys all believed in reincarnation. Just to pull it back around. I put this up a couple times as I was advertising the show. I love that Einstein quote. Spooky action at a distance.
Yeah.
And I know that's all part of synchronicity and consciousness. And that's a great quote.
Yeah, it's
spooky action at a distance.
Yeah, Einstein refused to believe what Max Planck was selling as the father of quantum physics, and Einstein said that he didn't believe that God played dice with the universe, but the reality is that God does play dice with the universe. But the thing is he has both dice in the same hands simultaneously, but there's only one dice.
Wow.
Okay, and that's what's going on with quantum physics. Now, John Wheeler, from another Princeton guy, a professor there,
okay,
makes me wish I had taken this course, but I don't think he was giving courses back then. But his conclusion is, And this isn't just a tinfoil hat guy. This is like one of probably the 5 greatest living minds.
Right.
At the time, he said, this makes time and space irrelevant. Yes. Is that you can influence the past in the present.
Okay. That's a big statement.
It is.
Yeah.
And then, but if you and I are saying that, it's like, we'd be like, the 2 guys in a Repo Man sitting around the dumpster fire talking about, driving makes you stupid. But,
yes, it does.
But it's like, it's a time machine. But that was a big thing. So Einstein ended up coining the term spooky action at a distance because that's what he referred to as what we now know as quantum entanglement, where you can have where an electron can exist simultaneously in 2 different locations. Same electron. So there's God playing with the dice, but only one dice in both hands.
Yeah, it's amazing. I do a lot of pondering, and Tommy Blaze and I used to laugh all the time about how do I get paid to ponder? I'd like to be a professional ponderer.
Think big thoughts.
Yeah, think big thoughts. The amazing part is, guys like me, just a workaday guy, just an artist, trying to find my way, trying to find my truth, trying to find the big love. You constantly question your place here, why you're doing all this. I mean, and you can talk to nihilists and they'll make you, if you get a good one, they'll make you believe all human activity is absolutely ridiculous and useless, but it's truly not. You can't take that much joy out of your life, because it is a wonderful life, helping other people and sharing other people. That's why we do the show, because Mike and I each have a unique viewpoint. Maybe not totally unique. Maybe we're of course an amalgamation of all of our influences. So, but we try to, all of our ideas are all based in a peace, neutral kind of a situation. We don't single anything out. In fact, what we're trying to do is blend all the energies that there is, or that there are, and hopefully you blur those kind of lines, and your personal energy will improve. You will gain more peace. And it's a whole, it's your whole life. But I really believe that the year of low strangeness was to isolate a lot of us and make us truly contemplate what it is that we're doing here. And it's just given me a whole new level of gratitude. I'm so thankful for the people in my life. Recently, if many of you know, my mom's been in the hospital. She broke her wrist. She fractured her shoulder, her elbow. She banged herself up really good. And at 82, you don't need to go tumbling into the night. But the prayers and the meditations and the healings that everybody sent, she's really, really doing well. And she's back home. Her strength is, not to where she was, but it's much, much better than when we picked her up. Because when I picked her up, you had that body strap that you lift people with so they can get out of a wheelchair or into an automobile or whatever. And when we first picked her up, it was about half me and half her. But now it's almost like 90% her and just 10. We just kind of keep her guided. My sisters are doing a fantastic job with that. They're just both such beautiful, loving souls, and really happy for the love that my family shares for each other. It's a high level of gratitude that it's irreplaceable. But I'm looking at my mother too now, 82 years old, and her vessel is getting tired. She has she's had some heart damage, and she's got some breathing issues and stuff like that. So you know, but her spirit, it's so beautiful. She's all still there. She's just very, very sharp, and she knows a lot. And she remains in peace. She is a peaceful person, and you know, I think from what I've been talking to her lately, is she's, you know, basically happy with her life, and I think if she would impart any wisdom to me, it would be do the things that you want, follow the quest of your heart, travel as much as you can. Travel helps expand people so much. If you, as well as we can do it these days, and if you got that itch, go do some traveling, man. I got really blessed. I got to make some Colorado trips and some Idaho trips and some Alaska trips, and during this year of low strangeness. So, you know, you never know the opportunity that's out there. There's a Chinese word, and I can't pronounce it, but it means that there is always, that there's often opportunity amongst danger. So if you're considering the way your life is changing before you with a flavor of danger, there's also opportunity here for you too. So just keep your eyes open. Don't let your world get small, man. You're part of a great, big, wonderful thing. What you got? What was all that research there?
Oh, I was trying to find the name, and you know, I don't retain information like I used to, but
who does?
Well, and I'll have it for the next show. The name of the physicist, Nobel Prize winner in physics for his work in quantum physics in 1960, and I forget who told the story. I think I was reading it when I was reading this past week, and this Nobel Prize winner, before he got into working on his PhD, he had been accepted into PhD program, and he sneaks into the department head's office, and he pulls his file because he wanted to, know what his IQ was, to see if he really had the stuff to make it as a top tier physicist.
Right.
And he finds out his IQ is only 126.
Wow.
But here's a guy with an IQ of 126 that eventually wins the Nobel Prize for science in the work in quantum physics.
Sure.
So you say don't let your world get small, and don't let your limitations define who you are.
Yes, of course.
So I mean, I'll get I've listened to his lectures, and he's just a wonderful lecturer. And the name escapes.
Hooper?
No.
Okay.
No. Feynman, Richard Feynman.
Feynman. There you go.
Hooper, Feynman.
Hooper, and Feynman.
Feynman, yes. Feynman is a fine man, yes. But it's a great story. And if you haven't listened to his lectures, go for it, because he's all over YouTube, and they're old, but he's a remarkable human being. Yeah.
And one other thing I wanted to feature on the imho.love website. That's www.imho.love. You'll find the pacifist riot, which was kind of the thing that set this thing to sail. And Mike also wrote a beautiful piece a couple of weeks ago, how to become a highly developed being. And it was notes that you took from Master Nee. And really, really beautiful summation of our life journey here. It's a beautiful read. Do you have this up on IMHO?
No, I don't. No.
No?
So,
okay.
Just send them to you.
That's the way to get that spontaneous exposure. Yeah. And that's the thing, Mike. If we were, I literally got chastised by a guy who's in the business, the entertainment business, and just kind of slapping my wrist for not publicizing and commercializing what it is that you and I do and what I do professionally as a stand-up comedian. Um, and I get it. I should probably monetize a lot of this stuff, but that just to me it just changes the complexion of it, and
Yeah, we answer to a higher authority than money.
Yeah, that's great.
That's true, though. I mean, when people come here and they say, "Hey, can I make a donation for what you're doing here and do it?" And my only because my website, Darby Ranch says, "Yeah, you can make donations," and I tell them, "Yeah, find another charity and give as much as you want, as much as you
There
can."
you go.
Okay, so take whatever value you get here and pay it forward, because this is free.
It sure is, and it's funny. I mean, in our you. That you're tithe to the world when you open up your property and let people come, and it's a beautiful thing. And with the CE5s, we're looking for craft. Yeah, we're sharing experiences. You're amongst friends. If you're into this, if you have this level of interest.
But the amazing thing last weekend was the energy, the human energies involved. It was tangible. It was.
Oh, it was. And the third, we have an invocation that in the beginning of the night that tells everybody what's going on, and then we have our first meditation. Which kind of that's when we're all out in the field and we're all holding hands and energy's flowing amongst us, and we're sending that energy up to be recognized. And then the third phase of it is we have a healing meditation, which I'm blessed to lead. And man, the energy was just absolutely beautiful Saturday night. Everybody, I wasn't hypnotizing them, but they were in the place. They were getting what they were looking for. They were calming down, and we actually had somebody write in saying that they actually received a healing in the middle of the service.
And that too has been proven, at the quantum level, that it exists and it can happen through remote viewing. It's the same mechanism as remote viewing. That's where these things are all together. Whether there's reincarnation, paranormal experiences, CE5, remote viewing experiences, remote healing experiences, they're all real and they're all interrelated as the modalities or the contact modalities.
Yes.
That's how Ray Hernandez, one of our good friends, is calling them. And that's,
Well, just being, and I think what it is learning to channel and direct that energy from yourself to its target. And just out there in the field, we got a nice fire crackling. Everybody's in there. Gravity chairs, they're all faced back, and we do a meditation, and with such a presence of beautiful souls there. I mean, there's some really deep people that come out there to visit us.
Yeah, so many of them with contact histories already.
Yeah. So they know the energy that we're tapping into, and that started flowing amongst them. And here's this one guy that said he actually has had horrible shoulder pain, and during it he felt a little snap or a little crack, and it went away. And that's my meditative directive. If I'm doing a meditation with you, and I have with a lot of people on the show that in private conversations, one of the things that I ask for. Ask the universe for, ask the creator for, ask force, flow, source, whatever, is a reordering of cells when you're sick or when you're bent up or you're broken. And that's the thing that's healing my mother, is her cells are being reordered. They're going back. I'm making that direct request to the universe, which has the ability to do it. And in my faith and by my the vibrations I create with my voice and the vibrations I create with my energy, I'm sending that to my mom. And there are also many others doing the same. And those cells react to thought. And those cells react to energy. And they react to frequency. It's proven over and over and over again. So you have that very, very same power and ability. It's inside of every one of us. And it's a little tough to get to. Okay, I mean, it's something you're not going to just walk in the next room and be it. But for it to be really effective, I really do think it takes a fair amount of personal introspection, knowing that you're offering the right thing to the right people. And it does take a level of humility to do it. Isn't the humility the most difficult thing to attain, don't you think?
It comes along with the dissolution of ego.
Because you never know how good you're doing.
Well, the thing is, true humility doesn't care anyway.
Right. But how do you, as you're working it out, you go, "Hey, you notice how humble I've been lately?"
Well, yeah. It's kind of funny. It's I got a couple of years, 4 years ago, when I got canceled by my buddy the Potter. He ended up throwing my stuff to the street because I wasn't supporting Hillary.
Wow.
Yeah, that was kind of rough. But the conversation we had beforehand, he was trying to convince me that he was a humble guy, and we got into an egotistic contest on who is the most humble. And it was like, well, I drive whatever it was, a little tiny car, and he bought, and it was 5 years old, and I was like, I think I got you beat. It's like I'm driving a '96 Toyota Camry, so my carbon footprint
with 300,000 miles on it,
smaller than your carbon footprint.
Yeah,
but hey, the ego's a rough thing. So
yeah, maybe he wasn't really that humble. Maybe he was just broke.
No, he was just being a dick.
Okay.
It's like, let's face it. He's been stoked.
How do you go home at night and talk to your wife? I got in an argument today about my humility.
Yeah, I know. I can't believe he's such an asshole. He thinks he's more humble than I am.
This guy.
Oh my God.
I'm the most humble freaking guy I know.
I know. See, that's where true humility doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly. And this is our friend Edwin. Edwin, what do you think of all this, huh? Yeah, you always got that same look on your face. But, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to the imho.love show. We're here a lot of Wednesday nights. Just the things have been jumping around, and we're still trying to get the studio set up out in the barn. We've had some
sicknesses and things that weren't good.
Yeah, so the people that were supposed to do it,
they're healing.
They're getting better. And we're sending them a reordering of cells. So, and that's a simple way to pray. And it's very direct. And it's also exactly what you're looking for. You're looking for the correct reordering of cells to restore you to full health. And, of course, you can't just... You got to do stuff, too. You got to eat right. You got to move around. Moving around and eating right. Man, I'm feeling a lot better. I walk a lot more. I work out a few times a week.
All right.
It's good, man. It's good. Get everything moving. And that's the other thing my mom has taught me on this thing. If you don't use it, you're going to lose it. She did not have the ability to take that fall. And that's a bad, as you get older, man, falling down is a hard thing. So you want to be able to not fall if you can.
Yeah.
Give yourself that advantage of, I don't
bouncing
fall.
Back up again.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Get back up.
Need to bounce.
Well, Mike, I'm gonna put it in the barn. What do you think?
Yeah, we've had a good night. Time to wrap it.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. Sorry for a little long-winded. If you like the show, please like and subscribe when it makes it to YouTube, and then also on BitChute, and we're also on Podbean. And what's the other one? We got one more too. Of course, Facebook Live. It's on here for a while. So like it, share it, send it to your friends, archive it, whatever you want to do. Put it on a CD.
Laugh, cry, rejoice.
Laugh, cry, and rejoice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Lou. That's Mike. imho.love. Like we say every week, use your head, trust your gut, and your heart will take you home. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we're going to say goodnight. Say goodnight, Mike.
Good night, Mike.
Hey, yeah. All right. Here we are. And hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. And we love you. And I'm going to finish right there.